What shall we then say to these things? If God be for us, who can be against us?
SPEAKROC, that's the team that I'm with. SPEAKROC, don't it make a lot of sense? SPEAKROC, yeah, we speak to each other. Hey, young man, be a brother to another, Put the other things aside, throw away the fakeness. All my brothers got the key to achieve greatness. Let nobody bring you down when you tryna reach the top. Let them know what you represent, tell them SPEAKROC. Let's make a change for the best. Let your voice be heard, let your words be expressed. Brothers and sisters, set a goal to the top. If anybody got your back, let them know it's SPEAKROC.
Hey, yo, Guap, that was dope. Hey, just gotta keep telling them what it is out here, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you already know, man.
Hey, we doing this one for the D. What up, though?
What up, though?
What up, though? What up, though? What up, though, brothers and sisters? This is your brother SPEAKROC, and this is the SPEAKROC Show. Hey, I'm so happy to be with y'all here today. Hey, I'm feeling good. I think I'm sounding good. And things are good. Hey, let me go ahead and introduce, chopping it up with my brother before we kick the show off. And, man, we be having a blessed time even before we start the show. And y'all know him. Y'all familiar with him. The extraordinary teacher. My brother, E.T. Eric Thompson. What up, though, sir?
What up, sir? What's going on, man? I'm blessed, man. You done blessed me before we even got on the air. You can't do that, man. You done got me all fired up what God done done in your life. And, man, I don't know what's going to happen today, man. People going to get blessed, man, because if they tune in and get this thing down the inside of them, their spirit, man, and see what God is doing in other people's lives. It's funny, man, because when I was, I try to soak in God's presence before not because of the show, just because for my personal life.
Yes, sir.
Because I need my personal life to line up with what I'm saying on the show. Mm-hmm. Because if my personal life ain't lining up with what I'm saying on the show, then we got a farce going on. We got some fake stuff, and I can understand why people won't come flocking to the King of Glory. But I was just soaking in God's presence. I was thanking Him for things that He had done in other people's lives. Because it doesn't diminish His relationship with He and I just because He blessed somebody else. And you were one of the brothers that I was getting glory for this morning. For God just doing so tremendously blessing you and your family and your ministry and all of that. And that doesn't say God doesn't need any less. And one of the other things I was saying just because I'm praying for something, but it manifests in somebody else's life, that don't mean God don't love me no more than He love me less than He loved the person that it manifested first. I just say God, that person was just in line first. I said, God, but that's not going to allow me to come to you any less. That's not going to allow me to worship any less. That's not going to allow. See, you don't get me all excited,
Come
man.
on, man.
What up, Joe? What up, Joe? Man, but praise God. This is the day that the Lord has made.
Man, you didn't turn. Hey, Detroit. E.T. didn't turn what up, though, into a hallelujah praise. Dude.
He's just been that good, man. And see, I can get excited. See, this is what helps about 3 of our listeners, right?
Okay.
And I can get excited when I see God's hand on somebody else. Man, see, I wish they heard that. I'm going to repeat it. I can get just as excited for somebody else's blessing as if it was my own. Man, what you shared with me, man, that blessed me, man. It took me over the top.
Praise
already.
God,
I was already
man.
excited what God was doing anyway.
Dude,
and then what you just shared with me, that just blessed me, man. So I the show gonna be off the chain. I don't know what the topic it is about, but it don't make a difference. God is always the center of the topic. And when God is the center of the topic, man, all shows are off the chain.
Yes,
so
sir.
Go ahead on, brother. I don't know.
Hey, look, let me get a piece of that, man. Let me jump in on some of that because what's so blessed about what you're saying is, Eric, with the SPEAKROC, with this platform, which is all, giving honor and glory to God, man. You engage other people. You engage other people on social media that you probably could not have, otherwise, based on your travels and based on your geographical location, In short, you're connected with other people that are doing other great things, man. And to continuing what you're saying, I want people to know, man, like, I'm not going to name names, but I want people to know that's associated with SpeakRoc that y'all follow SpeakRoc, y'all checking me out. Now, let me make it clear. Regardless if you like my post or not, man, I am not vain like that. I am not into that, because I understand the visibility and the power of visualizing a certain material. So with that being said, when I see the people that associate with me and I see them working on their platform, building things, when I see that they're putting themselves out there, stretching themselves, even when they may be feeling uncomfortable about speaking into a camera, about giving words of affirmation to lift the people up. When I see you out there, pushing a movement, man, I feel good for y'all. And I just, and I pray for y'all, and I pray that y'all continue. And I pray that y'all, that y'all do what my brother E and I are doing, that we dedicate it, all to God. And I get excited when I see people stretching themselves to build, what it is, that they're working on. And it does my heart some good. So to hear you, Eric, say, you know what, I'm praying for folk, my brother in particular, I'm praying for him. And then, unbeknownst to me, to share with you a praise report, and it gives you validation, and it gives you, it's a way of God showing you your prayers aren't going unheard. And if you pushing that hard, man, for brothers and sisters in prayer time, I don't know if I can even imagine the blessing God has in store for you based on what you've been doing for others. Man, so I'm excited for you, dude. That's what's up.
Praise God. Praise God. And the thing about, you said the thing about the Facebook post, and then posts in general, when we do social media and stuff like that. Now, a lot of people come against, they'll say something like, oh, you just posting for likes and stuff. No, I'm posting for agreement because.
No, they didn't. Are you just posting for likes?
Yeah, no, I'm posting for agreement because the truth of the matter, I believe God, whatever God shares.
Uh-oh. Hey, we lost my brother E. Don't worry about it. I'm about to get him right back on the line. So y'all just hold fast. My brother E up here preaching, man. And he's preaching for a good reason, because my brother Eric, he got a heart like that, man. He loves us. Let me go ahead and get this brother back on the line, man, and see what we can do. Let's get my brother back on the line.
What's up, sir?
What up, though, man? Hey, the devil mad at you, man.
Oh my goodness, he upset. But he gonna get 2 black eyes this morning.
There you go. Go ahead and say, I lost you at, because I found it comical that people would say that you post for likes, but you say you're posting for agreement. Please continue on that.
Yeah. I post for agreement, because what happens is I believe, when I post, it's inspired by the Lord. It's not inspired by me. It's not inspired by my flesh, especially if it's a spiritual post. Now, if I post in family or whatever, that's something different. But when I post a spiritual post, and those that come in agreement with the exact thing that I posted, the Lord afterwards, and I pray for them specifically, right? Mm-hmm. To bless them based on their level of faith toward the post, right? So it's not I'm posting for a like, I'm posting for agreement, and I'm trying to get people blessed based on the post. I'm not trying to post to see how deep I am or how much time I done spent with the Lord, and I'm people blessed.
My God.
And it's funny how, and I can tell, most of the when the posts are very anti-devil. Let's say it like that.
Yeah.
I get the devil on board real quick. I get attacked real quick. I was like, oh Lord, that's the one right there. That's it, God. The devil done woke up on this post. So yeah, I don't post for likes. I post for agreement, and I post to get people blessed. And especially if they actually say or do exactly what I believe the post was all about, and then I go before God and say, hey God, that's the one. That's the one you need to take to the next level.
That's right. That's right. Because look, man, we all need to get taken to another level, and we all got to get some understanding. And I'm gonna leave that right there so we can go ahead and transition into the show. And I believe that today is going to be a show where, let me say it like this, man. There's so much really, especially with the season, this year coming to it an end, and we're going to be entering another timeline, if you will, another season, another place of where God has taken us, and I don't know if I really don't know if I've ever been, as excited as I am now about seasons changing. And I'm just not talking about the weather. I'm talking about timelines. I'm talking about my place, in the things of God, and what God will have for me to do. And especially when you start getting deeper into that can probably shake, even for a seasoned Christian, that can shake you up a little bit, because when you start talking about things God for you to do, okay, just that can be, it can be more than what you can even imagine. And I'm not even speaking on just always the blessing. I'm speaking about actual actions and work that God will have for you to do, and it will put you in a place where you can get uncomfortable real quick. And let me go ahead and continue to get into it, because I'm using words like uncomfortable and real quick. And there was a situation that popped off, Ian. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it or not, in pop culture, dealing with the brother Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart was given the opportunity by the Oscar committee, dealing with the movies or whatever. Oscars, they give out the Academy Awards for people who they feel who have done great things in Hollywood. Kevin Hart was given the opportunity, or proposed with the opportunity, to host the Oscars. And, the Oscars, hosting the Oscars has turned into, one of those coveted, it's almost just as big as winning an Oscar. When you get to host the Oscars, that means either you reached a certain status or your stock is about to increase, in that world, in that entertainment world. So Oscar was like, and I'm just going to say Oscar was like, yo, hey, we want you to come host. Then, so that was one day, or whatever the time period was. I don't think 24 hours elapsed, or even if it did elapse, it just elapsed. So let's just say 24 hours, a day went by. Then Oscar gives Kevin another call, like, look, yo, Kev, hey, we know we asked you to host, but, you made some comments about the LGBTQ community, about the homosexual community, about the transgender community. And, you probably apologize and all that, but we want you to apologize again. Because, and if you just don't happen to apologize, guess what? We're going to move on from you. We'll just get another host. Kev was like, hey, I hear you. You know what? Already been there, already done that, already apologized. That's behind me. That's back in 2009. Here it is, 2018, and y'all still bringing up some old stuff. You know what? Don't worry about it. Go and find yourself another host. And I was like, woo, this is good. Because the way I look at it, now let me transition just for a bit, especially when it comes to the Christian community, the faith community, followers of Christ. And in this can be contributed, or this can be applicable, I should say, to all sorts of other situations. Before you and I, got on the air, off air, we were talking about our work. We were talking about our employment. This can be applicable to that. This could be applicable to any social club you're a part of. This could be applicable to a lot of things that you're a part of something. So the way I'm looking at it is, I looked at that. Kevin took a stand. He took a stand, and he he was like, look, I'm not going there with y'all. So based on his convictions, he was like, look, I'm not going there. So with the spiritual community, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine the other day, and we was talking about, taking a stand as far as what you believe as a Christian. And I was like, look, man, you got to stand. I say, I don't know where we've gone as believers of Christ thinking that everything that we say out our mouth is going to be well received. I say, I don't know what kind of preaching that has been going on to make us think that how we profess and proclaim what we believe that is going to go well with every person that hears it. I say, quite frankly, that's not Bible. That's not scripture. Now, that doesn't mean that it's not going to go well with a certain amount of people. I say, but if you just read your Bible and just read for the prophets, major and minor prophets, when you start talking about, the apostles, and you start talking about the disciples, when you start talking about Jesus Christ himself, all of them have met resistance, even when they spoke the truth in love. See, so I don't know what Bible we've been reading to think like the Christian, when you profess a certain thing, like it's going to be accepted. Like when you take your stand, and I use myself as example. I've had many examples where I've stood as a believer in Christ and I just get the side eye and I knew like, yo, like this cat, like they just all automatically knew, or I automatically knew that, you know what, somehow, some way, I've just fell out of the good graces of these people. All because I don't believe a certain thing, or I choose not to compromise. So with that being said, Eric, I want you to jump in here, man, because what I want you to help us with today, bruh, is, the subtopic that I put for this message was, what do you do when they come after you? Because truth be told, more often than not, and more likely than what we choose to believe, the world is going to try to come after you. Not try, they will. So I want us to come to some understanding and come back to reality about how this thing really works, and not only how it works, what we must do as believers. And even if you aren't a believer in Jesus Christ, and let's just say you ain't got there yet, but you know what? You're a brother, you're a sister that's doing your best to just try to live a equal life, put food, a good life, put food on the table, take care of your family. I get it. Look, I want people to understand, like, you know what? Compromising isn't going to be the path to go down. I understand being quiet and not ruffling feathers at certain points in certain seasons. I get that. But I'm going to tell you this. If it's only going to get worse if you compromise. So I know that's a mouthful, E, but help us out, brother.
Well, man, that's good stuff. So, we, as Christians, let me go from the Christian perspective. We got to recognize that we in the world, but we're not of the world. So because we're in the world and not of the world, that don't mean we have to compromise to the world's standards, because our standards are greater and better and has better reward in the end, that we believe as Christians. Now, the Kevin Hart whole scenario, I first off, I was under the assumption that he has already hosted the Oscars before. Am I wrong about that? This was his first
you know what,
time.
Brother? You know what, brother? I don't know. I
think he has. I think he has before. If not, that's no big deal either. Secondly, I don't know what stance that he took when he spoke about the lesbian, gay, whatever this community or whatever. I don't know. I don't know if he took a spiritual route, or did he just was doing it in comic relief. So if he was doing it in comic relief, I don't even understand what he was apologizing for, if he even had to apologize, because in that world, in that universe, nothing is off limits. I didn't think anything was off limits because, just kind of following Kevin Hart, I kind of like the dude or whatever. But it seemed like nothing's off limits. It seemed like his family's not off limits, the president's not off limits, black people. No. So I don't know if he was just taking and you can correct me. Was he taking a religious stand that he think that the Bible talks about it, or was he just being apologetic? Because it's funny, because if you say anything about that community, then you become the hate group, right? You become someone that's ostracized because of who you are, and you taking a stand from the Bible, but now you're the hate group. But if he was taking a stand and he apologized because he thought he offended them, and God compelled him to apologize, then I get that. Now, what I don't get is from the Oscar standpoint of saying, okay, I need you to apologize publicly so I can appease a certain group of people. Are you asking him to apologize publicly for the midgets that he's probably was said some joke about, or some entertainer that he's said some about? That's the part I don't get. But the whole relevant of our conversation is: are you going to take a stand on your principles or your morals or your integrity for the filthy lucre, or for notoriety, or publicity, or for the popular vote? Mm-hmm. And from a Christian standpoint, we do not do that, because the thing about you talked a little bit about you're going to be attacked. If you're a Christian and you're not being attacked, then you might want to check your Christian card. It might have expired. It just may have expired.
I like that one.
I just got to put it out there. Mine was my card has no expiration date. It's actually penned in blood.
Come on, man.
And because mine is penned in blood, then I can't compromise. Now, I'm not saying I'm perfect, even in my integrity. I'm not saying I'm perfect in that. I'm not perfect in anything. Matter of fact, I'm an imperfect vessel that God decides to use.
Right.
But I'm not going to publicly compromise for anything. You know what I'm saying? That's contrary to the word of God. And we just need to stand, like the scriptures talks about. We just need to stand and make our stand. Then, because what happens, people will try you. People even try your faith. People even try to see who you say you are, whether that's in faith, or that's just you being a man, or being integrous, or being let your yea be yea and your nay be yea. They'll try you, and you are who you are when you try it in the fire. And because when you try it in the fire, then you recognize that you can. If you come out on the other side, you can come out from the spiritual perspective, not even with the scent of smoke on you.
Come on, man. Eric, man, you got a bug in my house or something. Because I swear, my wife and I was sitting there saying, you said come out with it without the stench of smoke on you. I was just talking to my wife about, we were talking about this subject, and we were talking about, and I said, hey, look, people act as if they don't understand what, Rashad, Meshach, and Abednego, what the story was. They acting as if they ain't never heard of King Nebuchadnezzar. I mean, these are two Hebrew boys who had to sit. Now, we ain't even talking about the fire. Before you even got to the fire part, before he put them in the, the furnace, Nebuchadnezzar was on one. he was the reason they got put in the furnace is because Nebuchadnezzar was like, hey, look, bow down to this, honor that, do this, do that. And these three Hebrew boys was like, I don't think so. I mean, they was like, look, I don't think so. Like, I don't think we going down that route.
Because, they said,
go ahead.
I won't be. I'll be careful to say what I'm gonna say out of my mouth. But you're not in control, Lord. But see, it's not King Nebuchadnezzar. That's Oscar, right? It's the dudes that it's the dude that brung the Hebrew boys to the Oscar.
Come on,
see,
Eric.
The Oscar. See, it was the one who didn't want Kevin Hart there, brung it to Oscar, right? Or the one that didn't want the Hebrews boys there, brought it to Nebuchadnezzar. It wasn't Nebuchadnezzar's idea to do that. You know, it was the jealousy and the envy and the strife that wanted to set Kevin Hart apart and make him the example to see if he gonna be the man that he say he is. And that's how we are in life. It's not necessarily Oscar. It's the people who want to see you fall.
Wow.
Who want to see you not succeed. Who's jealous and envy of you. Those are the people you need to watch. It could have been somebody in Kevin's corner. He just don't know.
Oh, well, he's been through that already, too. And I'm pretty sure it's still going to go on. He had somebody in his own camp that set him up. Well, Kevin set his own self up, too. But, you know, somebody was adding to the fire. Yeah. And that's a lesson in it of itself. You know, when you indulge in whatever kind of activity that's not of God or that's not honoring your own life, trust me, the devil going to help you with exposing your own self. But let me say this, because I have an example, and because I want to make it plain for our listeners, as we always do. I have an example of when I was in the military. I had a situation where, you know, I had a supervisor that he was new. He just got to our unit, you know, but he was our supervisor, and I guess he wanted to I guess he got his swag going on, you know what I'm saying? He know what he know. He been doing this for a minute, and you know he wants to make sure that he strutting his bravado around. You know, like, hey, this is who I am, and this is what I do. So he had it was like me. It was a group of people when he walked up on the scene. So another group of soldiers, and we was talking, and I guess he felt like he was gonna put his words of wisdom on the situation and explain some stuff. And then he broke out into some, I guess, because there was a couple of. I think everybody there was probably, anyway, no, I'm going to say it because I got to make it plain. I think everybody there was probably, you know, a brother or a sister. You know, we was all black. So I guess he felt like he was going to hit like some, you know, spit some bars real quick or something and, you know, make a hip hop reference and, you know, try to relate. And he was talking to me. And I was like, and he was like, and you know how people, when they talk, people make a point, they'll say, you know what I'm saying? And I looked at him, and I was like, no, I don't know what you're saying. And from that point, I swear, if looks could kill, he looked at me like you just, like, it. I don't know if you remember that, the scene in Menace to Society, where the actor Bill Duke, he was interrogating old boy he was interrogating Kane in the interrogation room. And Kane was stuttering over his words, and Bill Duke was like, "Nah, see, you see that? You know you done effed up, don't you?"
Yeah.
That's how dude was looking at me. Like, you know you done effed up, don't you? And from that point, that day, I was on dude bad list. I was on his bad list just because I didn't agree with him on something that he was talking about. Now, some will say, well, you know what, man, you got to play the game. You know what, man, you got to make people feel good. You know what, man, you can't show people up or show them out, you know, in a certain situation. And I'm going to tell you something, Eric. I never been one to subscribe to that, ever. Because you know why? I'm a grown man too. I'm a human grown adult. And you know what? I've been blessed with a certain type of intellect. I've been blessed with a certain kind of understanding. Now, if I would have came to you and said something disrespectful, like, man, shut up, because I don't even know what you're talking about. You sound stupid right now. Now, if I would have said something like that to him, okay, now I'm out of pocket. I'm out of pocket. You don't come at your supervisor like that. Don't disrespect. But if I sit there and just cordially say, look, no, I don't understand. Now, if you got to take that, you know what? I'm just going to be honest with you. I was happier with myself that I did not compromise my integrity than if I would have compromised my integrity just to stay in his good graces. And let me sum it up like this. At the end of the day, long story short, while we served together in the military, I'm just going to keep it 100. This dude, even though I was on his bad list, this dude got caught up in some stuff that was unbecoming of what a soldier should be. Oh, and he got ejected early. And his military career ended early. So what am I saying? Do I take glory and pride in that he messed up his career? No, I don't. All I'm saying is somewhere he compromised. I hope some people listening to me. I hope people understand what I'm saying. Somewhere in his career, he compromised. And he met an end that was not the fitting end that he wanted. But I did not compromise. And guess what? I walked out without the stench of smoke on me. I'm just saying. I had to make it plain, E.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man. Because the thing about, what people don't recognize, compromise catches up with them. Compromise will catch up. It'll call you out. Compromise will call you out one day. Compromise is just like lying. It's gonna find you out one day, you know. And because you compromise a little, you have to compromise in much.
Whoa! Say that again. Say that again. Slow that down and put some emphasis on that, because that's powerful. If you compromise a little. If you compromise in little, you eventually have to compromise it in much, and I equate it to like lying. Okay, I remember. Oh, we flawed, man. I remember when I was in college. Or I just got out of college. I think I was out of college or in college, but I was in college, and I was talking to this girl, and she had went to high school with me, and we talked about something, and she said we were rapping, and I was trying to get with her, right? I was trying to, hey, what's going on? So I lied to her about, let's say XYZ, whatever XYZ was. I lied to her about it, right? And so that kind of put her down. So she was like, oh, okay, because you're a part of that, we can get together, blah blah blah, or whatever. I did not know. Probably that summer, I saw the same girl out that summer with some other people who were in the organization that I had professed to be in. Now I was lying just to get with her because I knew how she was flowing. I didn't recognize that months or weeks later, whatever, how much time later, she had some people who was in that organization that I professed to be in. So I had to try to continue to lie going. But how I say the lie and the compromise will catch you and find you out. They recognize I wasn't. So they recognize I wasn't in front of her. So you can see how that situation got jacked up. And that's how we do. And that's how we do now. I mean, if we compromise in a little, we're gonna end up compromised in much, and then the results of the much will be much greater than, or the negative results of the much will be much greater than that little lie that you thought you told, or that little compromise that you thought you did
way back in the day. It's just going to dig a bigger hole or dig a bigger embarrassment or bigger credibility issues. Now, to that person, way back in the day, that was my, my pre-Jesus days. But nevertheless,
before your BC days, your BC days before Christ.
Yeah. But nevertheless, if she saw me today, she probably would take me back to that moment. And if I said something, whatever, then she might not believe it because of the compromise that I did back in the day. That's all I'm trying to say.
No, man, that was a blessing right there. And I'm gonna tell you right now, E, I'm gonna put that together. One of the things I've been realizing, it just came upon my heart, man, and it probably came on me last week real heavy. I gotta start getting some of your jewels together, man, some of your phrases. And we gotta take those and we gotta put them out there, to the social media universe. And let that, let people marinate on that and attach it to the podcast because, in short, I want people to understand, like, there's nuggets in this message. In our conversations, there are jewels that need to be captured. And, that was one of them. But let me say this, man. What's interesting, last week when we were, in such a flow on the podcast, we had conversation and we were talking about, I brought up the scenario, not even so much a scenario, actually a real life situation, for various churches that I've been a part of, or, various ministries, I should say. It's only one church. So I just don't want people to get confused. I know we say that and people probably understand what I'm saying. When I say various churches, people are going to associate the church with the building. But that's technically not true. It just isn't. Those are ministries. And if they all believe in Jesus Christ and they fall up under Jesus Christ and they really follow, God's, commandments and, so forth and so forth, there's only one church. So with that being said, I just got to emphasize that. I don't want anybody to be confused as I'm talking. But with that being said, as I was part of certain ministries, I was, put in a situation where that ministry, they participate in what I call pagan holidays. Look, I'm all for the holiday season. I always believe that every day, you and I have said, every day is a spirit of Thanksgiving. Truth be told, I don't subscribe to Thanksgiving. Like, I ain't into Christopher Columbus. I ain't into Pilgrims. I ain't into none of that. As far as I'm concerned, there's too many loopholes and all of that to even be heavily concerned. It's too much wrong with that whole situation. Too much wrong with the pagan situation of Christmas. I ain't getting into Santa Claus and the debt, Christmas holiday debt and all that. It's too many loopholes. I mean, not loopholes, but too many holes, period, in that whole situation. I'd rather have more of a spiritual foundation when it comes to, holiday seasons or seasons of being thankful and seasons of blessings. I'm into that kind of stuff. Like, I love birthdays. I love the fact, we appreciate everybody, the fact that they live on any day. I got it. But I think it's just something special that God would have for you to be born on this day. To me, I think that's one of those blessings that is almost like an inside joke. It's not a joke, but it's the inside thing, inside info. That's between you and God. God was like, hey, look, I want you born on this day at this time. And that's special between you and I, period. And then you can throw your mother in there, if you want to. But my point is, when it came to me being part of certain ministries and saying, hey, look, you know what? You got, Deacon Flip-Flop dressed up like Santa Claus. Then next thing you know, if I didn't watch it, they'd be like, hey, Rock, you kind of short in stature. We need some elves. You know what I mean? See, we got Deacon Flip-Flop doing it. So, come on now. Get with the spirit, get with the program. And for me, Eric, I was just like, nah, man, before that idea ever come across anybody's mind that I need to dress up like an elf, no, I'm not participating in that. I'm not getting that. No, I gotta find a way to get out of this now. Because I don't see no good coming out of this situation. And you said it so beautifully, and it was kind of like an ad lib, if you will. And I don't know if people caught that. It was the ad lib of, we just having fun. It's for the kids. We just being festive. We just and that those are the sounds and the voices you hear. And I ain't talking about inside voices, even though that can happen. I'm talking about the voices around you of your church brothers and sisters who are saying this. And I was in a position. Now watch this, E. Now this will really make me stand on all 10. When I'm sitting there in my house and I'm looking at my kids like, nah, we don't do that Santa Claus thing. Don't worry about that. I want everybody to feel me when I say this. I'm looking at my children and I'm saying, no, we don't do that. We don't do the Santa Claus thing. We don't do elves. We don't do Rudolph. Nope. None of that. Nope. But, we going to do the gifts, and I'm going to take care of y'all. I'm going to take care of y'all the same way I take care of y'all any day. But we are going to be festive. I get it. My wife got their decorations up now. I get it. But how do I look as a man? How do I look as a father? After I done sat there and told my kids we don't do X, Y, Z. But the ministry we go to inside of the church, we got some dude running around like Santa Claus. You don't think my kids looking at me like, hey, Dad, Deacon Flip Flop, you know what I'm saying? The person we call pastor ain't got no problem with it. Man, I wish somebody could feel. Is it just me? Is it? Because I just could not sit there as a man and be like, okay, so the dude I'm calling pastor is allowing this. And in my household, I'm telling my household that we don't do this. There's a conflict here. So I could go. Now, the other alternative could have been, Rock, you still hold down your household. Tell your kids, tell your wife, we still ain't doing it. I don't care what Flip Flop say. I don't care what Deacon Pork Chop say. I don't care. We can do that, but still, in the long run. So next year, you're going to have the same conversation again? Come on, man. So for me, I always knew as a man of God, as a man of substance, as a man of character, as a man of principle, as a man of integrity, Rock, you just can't. You're not going to be able to continue to go down this path because it's eating you up inside. And then your pastor still, because they any pastor would tell you, they are the stewards of the church, of the body, and that God has gifted them to guide and lead. There's a conflict here, but I was okay with it because I said, you know what? If this makes me fall out of the good graces, because I know at the end of the day you'll still be like, oh, we still love you. I get it. You just ought to. You better. You call yourself a follower of Christ. But in the same token, like at what point, everybody got something they got to stand on. And I looked at it like this. If I got to fall out of the good graces of the place that I call my home church, you know what? So be it. Because I refuse to compromise what God has given me and taught me just so I can be in good graces with man. I'm sorry I went off on a long tangent on that, brother, but I just felt like I needed to paint it like that because it's simple things like this can add to the bigger things, to your point. If you compromise in the little, you have to compromise in the much. So I just wanted to kind of break it down so people can understand, even for something as small as that, if you compromise in that, then what happens when you start compromising when your homeboy got this good, rich, quick scheme at your job and y'all skimming money off the top at your job? Come on now. You compromising something little, so what makes you think that you ain't gonna tell your homeboy, nah, dog, we ain't gonna do that. We ain't gonna rob from the job. Just saying, bro.
Yeah, that's good. That's perfect. Because what happens is, see, the thing about it is, we just need to take a stand for God. Once you take that stand for God, you don't have to really worry about the compromising piece, because you're taking a stand for God. You're taking a stand for righteousness. You're taking a stand for a holiness, because that's who God is. And once we do that, once we lean to that side and not the other side. See, one of the other things that I was thinking about in my intimate time with the Lord today is, I can't be afraid of somebody that can just do something to my flesh. Scripture tells us we need to be afraid of someone that can do something to the flesh and to the spirit or to the soul. You follow what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. See, that's the one that you need to be, because we tend to be afraid of people, and we more concerned about what people gonna say, or how people gonna react to you, or how people gonna poo-poo you or shun you, or don't let you get in the club, or ostracize you, or don't let you go to the golf range with them, or you can't get in the Masons Club. Give you to think and move and reason and have that job, have that car, have that house, have those relationships. So that's the one that you need to be concerned of how he feel or how he see a situation. For a long time, there was a movement. I'm gonna say it was a movement, right? Whether you believed it or not, but it was a movement with these little bracelets that had with WWJD on it. Mm-hmm. And for those who don't know or weren't a part of that movement, it was what would Jesus do? Mm-hmm. And it's funny, and I always said, because it was just to some, it was a relationship. To some, it was a fad, and to some, it was just a bracelet because everybody else had it on. Because it's funny, I remember one time, and I always affectionately think about this story. At that time, I remember it was, and he's a legend, and he's one of my favorites. And I mean, not one of my favorites in character, but in athletic prowess and perseverance and overcoming stuff like that. I could learn from that based on his upbringing and how he had to overcome a lot of stuff to make it to the level that he had reached. Now that was Allen Iverson, right? And AI.
Man, don't bring up basketball, Eric, because you know how enamored I am about when you talk about basketball and your basketball life. And for many people who don't know, my brother E and AI got actually something in common. But we'll get to that another day. I'm sorry for interrupting you, dude, but go ahead. Go ahead.
That's okay, but praise God. But so anyway, and so it was around the movement of the WWJD, what would Jesus do? And I'm thinking to myself, if you're going to wear that band, I need you to be concentrating on your movement, your action, your ways, your talk, your communication, your relationships, because you're saying, what would Jesus do in every area of your life? Because this is why you wear the band. I'm watching the basketball game on national television, and AI has this WWJD band on, and I'm like, okay, good. He had got some kind of call that, or some kind of infraction that it was against him, and this dude cursed out everybody from the referee to the coach to every player that was trying to calm him down to the fans that was heckling him. And I'm thinking to myself, dude, look at your band. Look at your band.
Not now, I ain't.
Because I don't believe. I know Peter cussed. Peter cut a man's ear off.
Come on, man. With the
Peter denied the Christ. I get all of that. But But dude, you put on a band and say, "What would Jesus do?" I just don't believe that that's what Jesus would do. How Jesus would to handle that situation. And that's all we're saying about taking that stand. How would God handle that situation? Matter of fact, if you're, and this is to get some light on your comment about your children, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would you do it the same way if your children were looking? Would you do it or say it the same way if your pastor, somebody you had of high esteem that walks in integrity, would you do it or say it the same way? Or if your mother was looking, or your father was looking, or somebody,
Well, can I add a little bit to that, E? Can I add something to that?
Go ahead.
Now, you say, would you do it if, like somebody that you revere is looking?
Mm-hmm.
But
mm-hmm.
my only issue with that comment slightly is this. And if we're using the analogy that I spoke of, so say like the real life analogy that I spoke of. So in my situation, I had a situation where my pastor is okay with having Santa Claus parade around the church and the Easter Bunny. So in a lot of ways, it's not for certain. I don't know if it's certain situations or all situations. I don't know. I'm not going to be dogmatic right now. But the one thing I will be dogmatic on is, my conviction with my understanding of what God would have and would want me to do. Going back to what would Jesus do? So what I'm saying is, so my pastor can be okay with a dude dressed up like the Easter Bunny parading around the church, passing out eggs and chocolate. So just because he ain't got no problem with it, and I only say that not to like try to correct what you're saying, but I know a lot of people who would take that stand. They be like, "Well, pastor ain't got no problem. Pastor ain't got no problem with it."
Absolutely, I get what you said. You might have kind of missed what I said. I said those who walk in integrity. You may now because you have to
Oh no! I probably did miss that one. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. Those who there. I mean, because you can look up to a person, but if they walking in the character and the nature of God, then you probably wouldn't want to. You probably could do and compromise in front of them and wouldn't feel a certain way. Wow. I'm talking about somebody you esteem and they walking on the level of a character and nature and reverence of God, then you're not going to compromise in front of them. Just like Jesus. If you reverence God, you reverence Jesus, reverence the Holy Spirit, you're not going to want to compromise in front of them or in their presence or anything like that. That's what I was saying. No, because we look up to people because of position. We look up to people because of title. We look up to people because of their level of expertise or whatever, mm-hmm, right? Mm-hmm. And you can admire that, and you can be, humble because of that. But if they're not walking in the relationship on a level with God, you won't. You can compromise and won't feel bad about that. You can go and have drinks in the presence of them. It's funny because that same pastor that you could be talking about, and I'm talking about, we're not talking about all pastors. We're not talking about your pastor. We're just mm-hmm. talking about a pastor. That same pastor could probably be in the midst of a party and start drinking, right? Mm. And you won't feel. You might have felt a certain honor to him at then, but based on your relationship with God, then you can start drinking because that's the relationship y'all form, and that's the integrity that y'all in. But what I'm talking about is somebody you admire you admire because of their stance with God, that stance of who they are in the Lord. Then you won't compromise. You won't in front of them. That's what I'm saying. Like that. I remember we had and I don't know if you remember this. It might have been after you had moved or whatever. We had I was blessed, and I don't know. I just was myself. So anyway, we had this. We did this dramatization in church called will the real church please stand up?
Okay.
Right. And we had these. I don't know if you knew I was in this or not, but anyway, I was just overseer of evangelism like I was back then,
Mm-hmm.
and we were in front of the abortion clinic like I was back then, and in the presence or whatever. So anyway, we kind of talking to people about going in. You know how we did it.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so we had three different scenes. We had a church who was very compromised church where the pastor was pretty much homosexual, right? And the church was kind of flowing in that. And then we had a church where they were just compromising church, that anything goes. Anything go in the church. And then you had a church of a holy standard. This is essentially where we are in the body of Christ. We have those, what we can call those seeker churches or whatever, where you come in there, have coffee, and put your feet up, don't, smoke in the back or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, those kind of churches. But those are not the churches of the Lord Jesus Christ. This is not the church that God has had for the people to turn the hearts of people back to Him. Those are the things that make people want to feel comfortable where they are, whether they're sinning or not. And the thing about it is no conviction in those places. And like we open up, if you're not being attacked, if you're not being called a holy roller, or if you're not being saying, well, we ain't gonna invite him because we know he's not gonna do that. If you don't get that, then your card, you might dust it off. You might need to renew it. Rededicate your heart back over to the things of God, because the ways of the world and the rules of the land and all of that has overwhelmed you in a place where we can't tell where your light is any longer. Your light is so dim. You know how you can have light bulbs, and you can have a 100 watt, and you can have a 50 watt and a 75 watt light bulb and all of that. But at some point in that dying ages, even because they were 100, they not at 3 years later, they not really illuminating 100 watt. They're probably at 75% watt, even though their labels say 100 watt, right? The illumination of it is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
It's because of over time you allow the cares of the world and the world system and people in the world to compromise your light. And now your light don't shine in darkness. The greater is because now you're not even in the dark places where you used to go to shine your light.
Wow.
So now you're in places where your light don't shine because their light shines as bright as your light, but their light is shining for the world. And so y'all light is going back and forth, so we can't even tell who you are and who they are. And because there's no separation in between sheep and goat in that place, then this is the reason why they will even come up to you to compromise. Oh, see, I wish certain people, if your light is shining at 100% brightness, certain people not even gonna try you.
Wow.
They ain't gonna tell you, come on, let's go to the strip club. Now I hope I'm helping somebody. Now, if somebody can come up to you in good conscience and say, "Hey, dude, we're going to the strip club tonight. You want to go?"
Let go.
Look at your card.
Wow.
Look at your card, because something's going on with your card that would allow them to think that your spirit is connecting to their spirit, and their spirit, and they bold enough. Now, this ain't one of those bold things where the devil just trying to try you. This is something what vibe you gave off to them that they feel that you could, that there's a possibility that you will go. See, that's where that compromising found you out. Because if you compromise in a little, we already talked about, sin is lying at the door. Bible says if you would do good, that's going to go well with you. But if you don't do good, Genesis said, sin lies at the door.
Wow. Why is it you know, and I'm not trying to make light of what you just said, but man, anytime something is lying at the door, that means it got comfortable and is waiting for you.
Wow.
Like seeing up there like, hey, I'm gonna lie right here. And I'm gonna wait for you to do something stupid, because I mean, no, man, you don't need nothing like that in your life. Something bad and got comfortable waiting for you. Oh man, you don't want none of that. But look, E, man, you blessed us today, man. I'm just sitting here listening, like, come on, people, y'all gotta be loving what my brother E is talking about right now. But this is what I want to do, E. We didn't pretty much got to our limit of our show. I can continue going on and on, but I believe we fulfilled that which we were assigned to do today, because we're going to be put in situations, or the enemy is going to come at us, you know, for a couple of reasons. What you just said. Hey, look, you know what I'm saying? Your light might not be shining as bright as you think it is. And guess what? The enemy sees room to attack, because there's some darkness there somewhere. So we about to come at you. And the other thing is, not to confuse it, but truth be told, guess what? You are shining so bright, God will allow, please understand what I'm saying. God didn't sin. God didn't put this curse on you. God is allowing the devil or the enemy to come after you, because God knows that you're going to do the right thing and shine bright to give God glory. Now, that's some spiritual stuff right there. But guess what? At the end of the day, if you don't ever stand, you're not going to endure the trials and the situations that you know what I'm saying, that may come after you. Not may. Let me stop with the may. That there are going to come. So look, I'm gonna say it like this: if y'all like this teaching, y'all like what we are sharing, and look, once again, it's the holiday season, and I believe, and y'all want to get connected more and more, not just to the SpeakRoc platform, but my brother E is an author, y'all, and I need y'all to understand this. And if you believe that this brother is kicking facts and he's kicking jewels and he's throwing out that good information, I need y'all to get in contact with my brother E. Now, my brother E got 2 books that he got out. And understand this. I want y'all to write this down. You can go to www.godpleaser.net. www.godpleaser.net. And you can purchase 2 books from my brother. Now, E, I want you to explain these books. Now, the first book is God Pleaser. Go ahead and give us a description of that book, E.
Man, that you know, God is concerned about us always wanting to attempt to please people or please ourselves. But what about Him? What about the Maker and the Creator of the universe, the one who created us? You know, what's pleasing to Him? And we put some spiritual principles in the Bible on what pleases God and what doesn't please God. And that's going to really help you, because it'll get you out of your ego, and get you out of your pride, and get you out of your selfishness, because now you're turning over your heart's desire, which God gives you, over to Him. And that will, it just will assist your walk in the kingdom of God.
That's what's up. Hey, and his second book is called The Balancing Act. First Things First. Talk to us about that one, E.
Man, that's a jewel, man. I'm telling you, this is for spiritual people, non-spiritual people, Christians, non-Christians, or whatever. Because, you know, the big scheme of things, we're always saying we don't have enough time. We do. We just don't have enough wisdom. And God loaded this book up with a bunch of wisdom on how to create balance in your life, whether you're spiritual obese or you're spiritual anorexic, whether you're doing too much on your job but not enough at home. And it'll allow you to have a practical, spiritual, and physical balance beam in your life, so you can navigate every area, every thing that's out of whack. Because you'll recognize that oftentimes it's not a money issue; it's a balance issue. Oftentimes it's not you fussing against your wife and against your children issue. It's a balance issue. You know, your wife's asking you to do X, Y, Z. You say, I can't do it because I got to do this. But why do you have to do that? Did you assign first things first? Did you prioritize? Did you have a budget? Did you establish all of those things? Why do you always got to say yes to every opportunity when no is the yoke destroying power of God? So those are things that will help you. I believe God has written these two tremendous help books that'll help you advance your life and advance the kingdom of God.
Absolutely. Look, understand that my brother E, he has a ministry called A Heart for JC Ministries. A Heart for JC Ministries. His email is Eric, ERIC, at godpleaser.net. Eric at godpleaser.net. And his website is www.godpleaser.net. You can go to that website, and if I'm not mistaken, E, they can order the books. Now, this would be done via PayPal?
Yeah, absolutely, PayPal. Now, you know, if you don't want hard copy, I know people like to read, stuff online and that kind of stuff like that. We do have digital copies as well. So, just hit me up on the website. We can discuss how you want to do it. Actually, these books should be going into y'all churches because these books will help. I believe not because I wrote them, because God wrote them. Will help pastors and leaders and all of that.
Absolutely, man. Hey, look, and like I said, this is the holiday season. Look, everybody's getting knowledge today. Reading has become back popular again. So look, I would highly encourage everybody. I got my copies in my hand and I'm looking at them right now. Please go ahead and support my brother E, support his ministry, support all the good that he's doing, and be a blessing to him as much as he's being a blessing to us. So look, E, man, I thank you, man. Look, I'm looking at the calendar, and we got like 2 more Saturdays left in this month, man, before, let me see. Well, we got 3 more Saturdays, but that one Saturday is like during, the holiday week. So I would say, we'll play that one by ear, but we definitely got 2 more episodes coming up. And I just, for some reason, man, this year, the year wrapping up, I just feel so good about it. And maybe E, what I would like to do, and we can chop this up later, what I would like to do, man, is for you to, one of these episodes, I want you to bring some things to the table, man. I want you to bring a topic and let us chop it up. Let me be caught off guard for a minute. And let me go ahead and answer what E got going cooking on in his brain. You know what I mean? What's bubbling in your spirit. So, what you think about that?
Oh, that's excellent. I believe that's of the Lord. So we can do that. You can just let me know which one. I'll be ready. I'll be ready. Whichever one you want to do, I'll be ready.
How about this? How about we do it for the 22nd? How about we do it hold on. Yeah, how about we do it the 22nd of December?
Got it.
That's what it is. Y'all heard it here. You know what I'm saying? Speak Rock Nation, E is totally plugged in, man. So, look, I appreciate y'all. Hey, E, I'm going to say one last thing before I let you go, man. Bless my heart. I made a post on this the other day. I don't know if you remember the song, our brother Elder May, the song he used to sing. During the time that I knew that he was on Praise and Worship. He used to sing that song, We Win.
Yeah, I do. It's funny that you would say that because I saw that and I was like, I wonder if he's talking about Elder May, right? And I'm thinking, but I didn't go back to the post. I just so happened and, phone was acting up, so I didn't even know what you actually said, but I did see you said something about Elder May, but go ahead.
Yeah, man, it was just in my spirit, man. Matter of fact, before I made the post, it was probably on my spirit like the week prior to, and I was just like, man, why is this on me like this, man? And And I don't know, maybe that's something for us to reflect on going into 2019, bruh. Like, we win. And the only thing, when I think about that, I think about that brother, a brother who was, very instrumental in my life, who has blessed me. And how happy he was every time he sang that song, man. So, shout out to Elder May, man. Shout out to that brother. That was good stuff.
Good stuff. All
right, y'all. Hey, look, it's your brother, Speak Rock, with my brother, E.T. Hey, it was a blessing, man. You got anything to leave for the people, E?
I just want, I do. We're not doing this for ourselves. We're doing this for you. So if you being blessed by this podcast, you need to let us know. You need to let us know how this podcast has increased your life, or how it's increased your family, or your finances, your health, or your walk with God, or your just walk with people. We need to know that. We need to, we want to know if this thing is blessing you or not. We just believe it is, but it'll be great if you can send a note to Speak Rock Ministries and just encourage your brother. So say, hey, y'all, you on point this week. You on point this month. Y'all didn't bring it on last month, and then we'll know how to move in the spirit with what y'all want to hear. And we definitely gonna give you what God tell us to say, but we would love to know what you think about the ministry. So, if you feel led, just drop us a note. Let us know what we're doing and how the ministry is blessing your life.
That's dope. Hey, sounds like a huge call to action to me, E. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make sure I put that call to action in the captions when I make the social media post, and encourage everybody to chime in and let us know, talk to us. How we doing? What do you want? So, hey, I appreciate that, E. Thanks a lot, brother. Hey, look, for my brother E.T., this your brother Speak Rock. Hey, God bless y'all. Thank y'all for being with us. Hey, just understand I'm a brother from Detroit. What do I know? Might know a little, might know a lot. I might not know nothing, but either event, we can live, laugh, and learn, and we can be blessed. Hey, we out of here. Peace.
We out. Peace.